B. Insecticides are washed into rivers. Fish absorb the insecticides. Seals eat a lot of fish, so the insecticides accumulate in the bodies of seals. So they build up. And this process is called bioaccumulation. So it's a process where insecticides are washed into rivers and they're absorbed by the small fish, eaten by bigger fish, which are eaten by the seals, and so that gets concentrated up inside the seals. And that's bioaccumulation. Question 8. The coral reef is an ecosystem where many different plants and animals depend on each other to survive. The sea and the reef form the habitat where the population or community of corals, microorganisms, fish, crustaceans and seaweeds live together. Clownfish live in anemones. This is a habitat where the clownfish eats, finds shelter and survives in a particular place on the reef. We could also use niche there. 9. A farmer notices the plants in his wheat crop are turning yellow. The roots are growing normally and there are no dead patches in the leaves. State the mineral deficiency. Well, it will be magnesium because, explain, magnesium is needed by the plant to make chlorophyll, which is the green part of the plant. C. Describe what the farmer should do to help the wheat grow properly. Well, he needs to add a fertiliser which is rich in magnesium. It will also need all the other nutrients as well, so potassium and phosphorus and nitrogen. Question 10. Tegan's doing an investigation to see how many bubbles are given off by pondweed. She counts the number of bubbles. She investigated how the brightness of the light affected the bubbles given off. She moved the lamp closer to the seaweed to make the light brighter. They're asking you to predict what will happen to the number of bubbles the closer the lamp is to the pondweed. Well, as it gets closer, the more bubbles will be produced. Give a reason for your prediction. It's because more light causes more photosynthesis, which produces oxygen, and those oxygen bubbles are produced. C. State one way that Tegan can improve the accuracy of the investigation. Well, she could measure the volume of the gas produced, so she could use a measuring cylinder for that, and that would be more accurate than counting the bubbles. D. State one other variable Tegan could investigate. Well, another investigation you could do is to use different colours of light. So, say, just shine blue light or red light or green light onto the pondweed and see what difference that makes. Question 11. It asks us to complete the word equation for aerobic respiration. So it's glucose plus oxygen produces carbon dioxide and water. So there's 1 mark for each of those. Carbon dioxide and water can be in either place there. B. State where respiration takes place in the cell. It's in the mitochondria. So that's part of a cell where respiration takes place. C. Name 2 differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic uses oxygen, anaerobic doesn't. Anaerobic produces lactic acid, but aerobic respiration doesn't. So there's 2 differences there. Last question, number 12. So here you're asked to describe an experiment to investigate how exercise affects the rate of respiration. So I've got 9 points here. You can have a mark if you've mentioned any of these. Okay, so initially you will measure your breathing rate at rest, and you measure that typically for 1 minute. How many breaths in 1 minute? Secondly, repeat that, do it 3 times and calculate an average. Number 3, now run on the spot for 30 seconds. Stop and measure your breathing rate for 1 minute. Wait until your breathing rate returns to normal and then run on the spot for 1 minute. Stop and measure your breathing rate. Repeat this again for 1.5, 2, 2.5 and 3 minutes of exercise. Number 7, repeat the steps 3 to 6 3 times. Then record your results in a table and calculate the average breathing rate for each length of exercise. You could add a number 10 here, draw a graph of your results. But it did specifically ask for, oh no, it's a method to investigate, so that's fine. So you could add drawing a graph on here as well. Okay.